Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. Welcome back to the channel. That's right, this is Rising 11 and we are going to look at the match between GMF against Partington FC. Yes, that's right, in the MYSL Division 1. What a game this was. Talk about cliches, a game of two halves. That's exactly what this was all about. GMF dominated the first half. Partington dominated the second half. So what we'll do is we'll have a review of the match. We'll look at some of the key moments. We'll have a look at where the match swung from one way to another, and then we'll kind of just have a little reflection on my takeaway as well. And thank you very much. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Follow me on my journey with my boys, Conla and Ronan, as we go through this journey with the GMF youth football season. Join us. Get involved, get your comments in below. What do you think of the matches? Let me know what you think of these little podcasts. I'm trying to get better at them, long way to go, but please get your comments in below. But okay, let's get into the breakdown of the game. First half, GMF kicked off. They were really, really strong. Flat. Flat. No, we weren't flat. We were straight out of the traps. Archie with a shot absolutely rattled the post in the first couple of seconds, and I thought, right, is this going to be one of those games where opportunities are going to come our way, but we can't actually take them? Or is this going to be a match where this set the tone and we're straight out of the traps, we're front foot, and we're absolutely on it? And that's actually how it turned out to be. For the first 20 minutes, the boys were pinging the ball around. We were getting shots away. We were causing all sorts of havoc. Ronan got the first goal, which was brilliant. I've got a little video clip on Instagram of Ronan and Conla doing a 1-2 and 3 and then Ronan finishing it. And they brought this to the match. Coach Jack wanted the boys to be able to understand how to just set the ball. So instead of absolutely pinging it back to someone, having to get a first touch, it was more a case of being able to strike the ball first and foremost without actually having to take that first touch. And that's what we worked on in training. And Conla and Ronan executed this brilliantly for the first goal. A 1-2 between the two of them. Ronan got it, drove forward, left foot pass to Conla. Brilliant, because he's able to do that, can play with both feet. Conla through ball, nutmeg, right through to Ronan. Ronan ran in on goal and just nicked it nicked it under the goalkeeper, and we were off to a flyer. It's only his third goal of the season. He hasn't had as many opportunities this season to create all those opportunities, but he got there and he made a really good. Between the two of them, they created a really, really good goal. Then we're straight into the next one. I think Archie got the second one. Ronan working hard on the wing. The ball broke. I think the ball went out for a kick in. Ronan lays it back to Archie. Archie absolutely whips it into the top corner again. So we're off and we're flying. Archie created the third one. He bombs down the left wing, crosses it into the box. Conla's on the back post, just holding his position just about right. Ball sipped across. Conla whacks it in. Prior to that, Conla had hit the post too. So we're absolutely flying at this stage. And the boys were creating all sorts of chances. But fair play to Partington. We didn't allow them in the game. We didn't give them time to breathe. We suffocated them. And Archie was working like a Trojan horse in the midfield. Noah was pressing high in defence, and Conla and Dan were absolutely working their socks off between the front and the wings. And we were absolutely just all on top of them. But there was a momentum shift. We got to half time and we were doing really well. The second half, completely different. I don't know what happened. We maybe a little lax in concentration a little bit, but Partington got back in. They got a couple of goals back, and deservedly too, because they were playing really, really good football and they were going through the midfield, but this time they were making their opportunities count. We gave a couple of poor passes away and they absolutely capitalized on not just that, but they actually finished them off very, very well, and they got right back into the game. Then to give us a little breather, Conla puts Dara through with a brilliant ball, and Dara is an unbelievable sort of half volley finish over the top of the goalkeeper on his left foot, which he's been working on too a lot, and you can see it because the finish is absolutely spectacular. So we're still ahead at this particular juncture. But as I said, Partington are coming back really strong, powerful in the midfield. They're really making their energy and they're really making their physicality count. Not in a bad way, in any way, shape or form. They're just on it, and they're on top of us, and they're pressing us high, and we're giving away opportunities, because maybe sometimes we've tried to play the ball back to Theo. One particular instance, Theo was under pressure, but he manages to get it just about. But there's a couple of other opportunities where the ball goes back to him and they're just a bit short. And Partington came in and they absolutely capitalized on it and made sure that they set up a dramatic finish. We did nick another goal along the way. Conla got another goal, sorry, Connor's goal was actually at the start of the second half. Actually, sorry, we actually got off to a flyer with Connor, nicked one, and then Dara scored. But the rest of the game was all Partington. They just put the pressure on us, something serious. And you know, as we got towards the tail end of the game, they were throwing in free kicks into the box, and every time a free kick went into the box, I was hands behind. You know, it was like watching through my. It was like, you know, please get behind the sofa and just kind of, you know, dip your head up and see what's actually happening, because Partington absolutely threw the kitchen sink at us, and they scored. They scored a free kick that came into the box, got a little deflection, and then in the last dying seconds they got a free kick. Don't know, maybe it was kind of 50-50, but fair enough, the ref gave it. And they whipped it into the box. Someone gets a nick on it, and the ball hits the post and goes out. Practically the last kick of the game. And if Partington had got the draw, I definitely don't think it would have been, you know, it would have been a fair result. A draw would have been a fair result. Sometimes football's unfair, and you don't always get what you deserve. And I think we kind of nicked it. We got away with one today because, as I said, even though we had a great first half, Partington had a really, really great second half. And as I said, that old cliche, a game of two halves. Brilliant game. My takeaway from me was obviously nice to see the boys win. But I've always said it's not about the win, it's about the development. And I love the football we played in the first half, but it was a bit like we almost kind of forgot in some ways the football that we played in the first half. In the second half, we were trying to go a bit longer, we were trying to hit them on the break, and sometimes that just didn't really work for us. We can pass the ball, and when we pass the ball, it's really, really impressive. But maybe that was due to Partington putting the pressure on us and not allowing us to pass the ball out, and the boys felt they had to go a little bit more direct. But that's football. When we tried it, it worked a couple of times, but in general, as soon as we sent it forward, Partington were retrieving it and coming back, and they were putting us back under pressure and giving themselves opportunities to score. So I think that was pretty much about the height of it. Key takeaways, players from me. I think Conn had a brilliant game. He scored 2, he assisted with 3 excellent assists, so I was really, really pleased for him. For me, he was one of our star players, and then probably Dara as well. Dara had a brilliant game in midfield, creating chances. He scored 2 himself, a great kind of nutmeg on the goalkeeper after a great pass from Conla. For a play to Dara, he just got enough on it, went under the goalkeeper's bot, between the keeper's legs and into the back of the net. And the other one was the one I talked about previously, the absolute screamer with Conla's through ball. Brilliant finish. I think he worked hard in midfield. He made some really good, clever passes himself. And yeah, we managed to hold on and get the victory. But as I said, Conla and Dara had massive parts to play in that particular match. And for Partington, they had I'm not entirely sure, but they had a young lad up front who really made life difficult for us with his physicality, and also the fact that he had lots of skill, and he scored some very, very well taken goals. So fair play to him, and hence we, you know, they brought themselves back into the game, and yeah, they never let their heads go down. We, at the end, our GMF boys were starting to get a little bit frustrated with each other, and you could see they were struggling to mentally come to terms with the fact that Partington had put so much pressure on us. Partington, I don't think, ever wavered. Even when we were 4-1 up, it looked like they were together, a unit, and you could see that because they came back so strong in the second half. My takeaway from the game was I've tried to do a lot less kind of shouting from the sidelines. I give my 2 boys in particular some extra freedom to kind of do what they need to do out in that pitch. I think it was paying off, because they weren't really looking towards me. Sometimes they'll take a shot and they'll look in my direction. This time they weren't, and I think it's because I wasn't shouting. I think I just tried to let them... I did shout a couple of times, but I'm really, really trying to rein that in. I've got to let Jack, you know, Jack does most of the kind of calls. I just sometimes get carried away. But yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to take stuff away. And one of the things I did learn about was the 2 stars and a wish, which is I've listened to in other podcasts, was quite useful. I asked my 2 boys when they left what was it they liked it. So 2 things that they thought they did well, and then another thing, that a star that they wish they had done a bit more. Conla's was the 2 things he thought he'd done well. He thought his passing was really good, which it was, and he thought his finishing on the most part was pretty good. Because some of his strikes on goal, you know, he hit the target quite a lot, which is good for a striker. So he was really pleased by that. And the one thing that he just wished he had done was he had got his hat trick, because he got 3 assists, he got a hat trick of assists, but he didn't get his hat trick of goals. So that was for him. Ronan, again, was his passing he was really pleased with. He was pleased with his work rate. And the one thing that he wish he had done a bit more was, because he had a couple of chances at the beginning, and he just couldn't get that. It took him a little longer to get that first goal than he had wished for, and he had hoped to have got a second one, because it's been a bit of a lean season for Ronan in terms of front of goal. But that's pretty much what the boys took away from. As I said, I'm getting better at the not shouting, and I'm hoping that frees the boys up to play their football and do what it is they do best, and not have to kind of hear from me or look in my direction to get any kind of sort of just plaudits, or just